Hello gamers, this is Sai, and welcome back to Which Way Games. If gamers had to choose, who would they take on an adventure? And with that being said, let's get on with the video. When it comes to famous duos in gaming, there are quite a few that some gamers could list without batting an eyelid, such as Mario and Luigi, Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong, and finally Sonic and Tails, although for some, Knuckles is the better option. Throughout the years, other duos of gaming would come and go, with the likes of Billy and Jimmy Lee from Double Dragon, as well as Banjo and Kazooie from the legendary gaming series from Rare. This game was also inspired by Nintendo Super Mario 64, that would also become one of the games that had a sense of nostalgia. This would be Jak and Daxter The Precursor Legacy, an absolute classic for the PlayStation 2. But before I carry on, let's go back to where it all started. Jak and Daxter was developed by Naughty Dog, who previously worked on the infamous Crash Bandicoot series. First appearing in 1996 as a possible mascot for the PlayStation, to rival Sega's Sonic and Nintendo's Mario, Crash Bandicoot won over gamers and became affiliated with the small grey box of fun. Not bad for a genetically engineered marsupial wearing trainers. Crash would star in a number of games as well as spin-offs, which for some gamers are still played even now. Each of these games provided a non-linear style of gameplay, and with each release that would follow, the series would progress to a certain point, but never venture out of its comfort zone. Naughty Dog wanted to take most of the aspects from the previous Crash Bandicoot games and create a game that would not only introduce a great story, but also introduce a seamlessly open world as well as two characters for gamers to enjoy. Taking inspiration from movies, cartoons and even comic books, game developers had to get these two characters right to emulate the success of Mario and Sonic. The character Jak would be silent, whereas Daxter would be the wisecracking loudmouth to contrast the quiet nature of Jak. Now with the majority of Naughty Dog working hard on the fantastic as well as addictive Crash Team Racing, the task of creating this new game was left up to a small team of developers. Small meaning two. Andy Gavin and Jason Rubin worked hard brainstorming different ideas to create a seamlessly open world with no loading times to completely immerse gamers, as well as having responsive controls. Over the course of development, there were the usual game-breaking bugs, but if these didn't exist, games would have had an entirely different game completely. Eventually, the rest of the Naughty Dog developers were put onto the project, and after 3 years of tweaking, as well as experimenting with different styles of gameplay, Jak and Daxter was released in 2001 with much anticipation. And like always, let's go back to the past to see how Jak and Daxter was advertised.
Yeah, I remember that day. 32 against 2. Slow day for yours truly. I'll let Jak handle these lurkers. Once in a while, I throw him a bone. Yeah, I let him have these ones, too. He's been a little rusty, so,
Hi, Jak.
Hey! I was just talking about you.
A new legacy is born, ready for everyone.
The story of Jak and Daxter begins with a warning from Samus the Sage, forbidding Jak and Daxter not to venture out to Misty Island. The troublesome pair take no notice, and once on Misty Island, they witness a pair of unknown figures, ordering lurkers to gather eco and precursor artifacts. Unsure of what they're seeing, Jak and Daxter decide the best thing to do is leave Misty Island. However, a lurker guard discovers them. Luckily, Jak manages to stop the guard with an explosive device, but the resulting explosion sends Daxter into a pool of dark eco, transforming him into an Ottsel. Unharmed by this ordeal, Jak and Daxter return to Samus, who is clearly outraged by their disobedience. However, he is powerless to turn Daxter back to normal. Well, as normal as he can be. I mean, we all have that one friend. Samus tells the pair that the Dark Sage Gol Acheron has a power to reverse the effects of dark eco, but lives far to the north beyond the deadly Fire Canyon. Kira, the daughter of Samus, offers to let Jak and Daxter use her Zuma. The pair take her up on the use of the hoverbike, but before their journey can begin, some training is needed. So Jak and Daxter head to Geyser Rock, where the adventure of the Precursor Legacy begins, and hopefully, with it, a cure for Daxter. Gameplay has gamers controlling Jak as he journeys through the world searching for a cure for Daxter and learning the secrets of eco. Being a platformer at heart, Jak and Daxter combines a semi-open world with a slight guiding hand, and a reward system for exploration. Collectibles such as power cells can be found scattered throughout the stage and are a way of opening up new areas as well as powering ancient machinery. As well as the precursor orbs, which funny enough look a little bit like an Easter egg.
But the question is, are they filled with chocolate?
Jak himself is quite versatile when it comes to moving, with a wide range of abilities such as double jumping and punching. And with a nod clearly to the Crash Bandicoot series, Jak also has a rapid spinning kick. All of these are performed with Daxter holding on for dear life, but at no point does it feel that gamers are controlling two characters, which is a nice touch. As well as all the other collectibles I've just mentioned, there's also the Scout Flies, with 7 found in each stage. They will give a power cell when found.
Similar to the red coins of Super Mario 64.
Gamers will have to deal with enemies known as lurkers that appear in various guises, from spiders to snakes and even toads. And from these enemies, there's also 4 bosses to deal with. These boss fights can be troublesome for newer gamers, but eventually, gamers will learn the pattern as gargantuan baddies will end up hitting the floor. Throughout Jak and Daxter, there are various colours of eco to be found, each with different effects on Jak. Green eco gives him health, blue eco will give him a burst of speed, as well as activating machinery, red eco will increase his attack power, and yellow eco allows Jak to shoot fireballs for a certain time.
What, like Ryu and Ken from Street Fighter 2?
The other forms of eco are the familiar dark eco that Daxter is all too familiar with. And as for light eco, I'll come back to this in a moment.
All of these different kinds of eco has me wondering, what does red eco actually taste like? Let's find out. Oh wow! Wait, what just happened?
Coming back to the story, after a long and perilous journey, Jak and Daxter learn that the other sages have gone missing and are being held captive in the citadel by the Dark Sage Gol and his sister Maya. Using his dark magic, Gol takes control of the other sages, hoping to extract the dark eco found within them, so he can harness it and reshape the world. Luckily for the sages, Jak and Daxter free them before going head to head with Gol and his sister. Realising that a greater power is needed to defeat the Dark Sage, all the other sages combine the different types of eco, thus creating light eco. With light eco, Daxter can finally return back to normal, but decides that the fate of the world is far more important. So Jak uses the power of the light eco, destroys a precursor robot, sending Gol and his sister plummeting into a vat of dark eco. With the world saved, the other sages contemplate the future, while Jak and Kira almost share a tender moment, only for it to be stopped by Daxter.
When released, Jak and Daxter was well met by critics and gamers, selling extremely well, with some stating it was a breath of fresh air with its humour and its endearing gameplay.
The fluid controls, great level design and humorous storyline had gamers wanting more, and Naughty Dog clearly didn't disappoint.
With this success, a sequel would follow, which would continue the adventures of Jak and Daxter, open up rift gates to all new worlds.
Jak 2 was more about guns, dark brooding characters and slightly mature content, which gamers clearly enjoyed, as eventually the series became a trilogy, which for one particular gamer I know was a dream come true. There will be other spin-off games made about this dynamic duo, but when the 10-year anniversary rolled around in 2011, all 3 Jak and Daxter games got a HD remake, with improved graphics and cutscenes, while still keeping the main gameplay intact. Now, Jak and Daxter wasn't the only great platform for the PlayStation 2. Some of the others were Sly Raccoon, as well as the Ratchet & Clank series, which I'll come back to in the future. With other gaming series making returns such as Streets of Rage 4, could gamers finally get their hands on Jak and Daxter 4? Or will it remain part of gaming mysteries like Half-Life 3? Naughty Dog will eventually go on to make the fantastic Uncharted series, as well as The Last of Us, all of which are very story-driven games and feel a bit like a big Hollywood blockbuster.
Anyway, come back next time where the fate of the world is in the hands of the Gunstars, but can they stop the evil empire from collecting the magical gems? Thank you so much for watching, and see you next game.
Bye.